I'm joined today by Danuta Hübner from the EPP, Chair of the Constitutional Affairs Committee. Welcome, thank you for joining us today.
Hello.
You have a lot of experience with Northern Ireland, and that was something which came up in the plenary today a lot, the importance of Northern Ireland within the Brexit process. What do you think will happen at the end of this process? Will there be a special arrangement for Northern Ireland?
Well, the most important thing is that we are all committed to find a special arrangement, and this is the hard border between Union and the rest of the world. It's a very serious thing. So if you think of how many products go back and forth between, let's call it Belfast and Dublin, which are exported from Dublin, but produced here, bottled there, and then we've had a lot of experts on this, and we know that this is going to be very, very hard economically. But then you also have people there, and people who have two passports, people who have been spending the last decades on building peace in a territory which is not famous for peace. So I think it's both people and businesses which require a very special approach. So let's hope. As
European Commissioner, you dealt with Northern Ireland specifically as well. What was your experience there that would inform the decision-making process? Do you really think that Northern Ireland could go back to war?
This is a risk which we have to take into account, and we must do everything, really spare no effort to avoid that this will happen. Those people who have been building peace for many years, they don't deserve it. And I think Europe, it would be a shame for Europe if we really cope with this very, very difficult issue, challenging, which is Brexit, that we don't find a solution that would allow us to preserve peace. You have the Good Friday Agreement, but you have also a lot of very personal links there, and there are regions who are the border regions, not only Belfast, it's not only the wall, it's not only the political stability or lack of it, but it's also regional cooperation, in which Europe has invested a lot. We have special programs.
As you say, the special programs, the peace money, as it's called, in Northern Ireland as well. Some people are now talking about United Ireland, unifying the two parts of the island, but others in the Republic of Ireland will say, well, that's going to cost us £9 billion a year. Would you see Europe underwriting that process for a longer period of time?
I think that's going too far, this kind of question. I mean, first of all, because of course there is the possibility of finding a technical solution that would allow us to people there to live and work and continue what they have built or achieved so far. We've heard also from some prominent politicians that there is also a political solution, but it's not up to European Union to look or to support any of those options. So we will do, I think, everything to avoid that a really hard border is created there that would not benefit anybody.
Let me ask you about Nigel Farage's comments today as well. Some said he was downright insulting, referring to gangsters and mafia in the chamber today. Hardly surprising language, but do you think that the House here, it views Brexit and the Brexit process through the eyes of Farage being the representative of the United Kingdom, or is there a softer approach?
I hope nobody is looking at this process, even as difficult as Brexit is, through the eyes of Mr. Farage or glasses of Mr. Farage. I hope that people can see negotiating will be also a learning process for everybody. So I think that Europe will be seen throughout the transparent negotiation process. Europe will be seen by the British citizens, European citizens, in the right context and as a process which is damaging, I think, politically, economically, emotionally, but to which we have to find agreement, to which we have to find solution, because that's the will of the people who decided. So let's do it together so that nobody suffers unnecessarily.
Manfred Weber, leader of your party today, said no cherry picking, and he was quite emphatic about what that meant. Guy Verhofstadt, on the other hand, led out the possibility for the UK and a later generation to return to the EU. Do you think that thinking will shape how the EU conducts these negotiations, that some doors should be left open, that the next generation should find it easier to walk through those doors?
But it's true that leaving Europe is not just today we leave, tomorrow sentiments shift and we are back. So this is for a generation, most likely, I think, this type of decision which is being made. Cherry picking is a sort of our obsession, because it's like with this famous cake that was supposed to be eaten and still be on the table for future consumption. assumption. I think in Europe, everything is linked. If you are part of single market, so that nobody is suffering, that it's not undermined, you have also to be subject to European Court of Justice jurisdiction, or you have to contribute financially, or you have to respect all four values. So that's what we mean by cherry picking, that you can take only what you like and then you just don't want to have other obligations. So this is raised all the time. And then if you are a member, you benefit from everything. You contribute, you have duties and rights. But once you are out, clearly what you can get from European Union is being reduced, but also your obligations are being reduced.
Finally, how do you see this negotiating process, given that those that won the referendum won essentially on the basis of lies? Most people in the plenary would take that view. And at the same time, many MEPs spoke today about the 48% who wanted to remain as Europeans. How do you try to balance some affection for that 48%?
But you know, I mean, on the one hand, we all say people decided, but of course it's not 90 to 10, it's 48 to 52. So I think for any politician, the 48 should also exist as a partner, should also exist as somebody to think about when negotiating.
Is that possible?
And for us, it is very, very important. I think there are some ideas on how to, for example, related to the citizenship, related to the fact that there are many programs for people, for students, for ordinary citizens. Maybe we can keep them, but that will also depend on the position of the British government.
So an individual opt-in rather than a national opt-in on some issues?
Yeah, it's just going well, probably too far. But I think we will sort of approach the negotiation with an open mind, and I hope that we will find a solution. But let me go back to what you said about the referendum, because it's true that what was worrying about the referendum, that it was actually based on false promises and also lies. So now the negotiations which are promised to be really transparent are a moment where you can get the information. So it's a learning process also for citizens of the United Kingdom. So we can learn a lot how Europe operates and what Europe is about, which we somehow didn't manage to get as citizens during the referendum campaign.
Do you think those on the British side negotiating will care about facts, or will this be rhetoric in the Daily Mail again?
I hope we are done with policy which is not based on facts. I think that we are opening now a new chapter where we have to be not only transparent but also honest. It's too serious to lie.
Danuta Hübner, thank you.
Thank you.